Welcome to the Heat versus the World podcast. And now, stand up and make some noise for your host, Joel Jacob.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Heat vs. the World podcast. That's right, we're back with another episode after what feels like forever. And with me, always, I got some guests. First, we got Miami Flash PE. Say what's up to the people, Flash.
What's up, everybody? We're finally back. Follow me at Miami Clutch PE on Twitter for my random Heat nonsense. Follow me, I'll follow you right back.
And then after that, we got not the real Jimmy Butler, but still someone fun to have on the pod, Mr. Jimmy Bucket. Say what's up to the people, Jimmy.
Hola, amigos and amigas. I'll just keep it proper today. This is James G. Buckets here. You can follow me on Twitter, Jimmy Buckets with 4 Z's, and I will follow you right back.
And then we got a best-selling Reddit author, none other than Brian. Brian is the king. Say what's up, Brian.
Yo, I wish I was best-selling in anything. That'd be cool. Yeah, y'all can follow me on Twitter at Brian is the King. You can follow my horror stories, Brian Y97 on Reddit, or just Google I investigate disturbing cases because that's the series I'm working on right now. Yeah.
And then following him, we got our female correspondent, Miss Angelina Martel. Say what's up to the people, Ange.
What's going on, guys? Glad to be back. It's Angelina Martel. You can follow me on Twitter at Angie Martel with 2 E's for our latest Miami Heat updates and potentially an Angie moment. You never know. I'm very unpredictable with those moments, but, you know, it's always a good laugh.
And then last but not least, y'all got your host. As always, I'm Joel Jacob, and you can follow me on Twitter at JoelKJacob_. So without further ado, let's get started with today's episode. So to those who missed it, Miami's most recent game against Dallas wasn't really a fun one. It ended with a Heat legend's son dropping 10 threes on us and so much more. Honestly, I don't really feel the need of wanting to talk about this, but who wants to start off this convo?
Oh, I'd love to go off on these kind of things. Well, the ghost of Tim Hardaway just inhabited his son. That's what happened yesterday. The ghost of the Heat legend just said, nah, not against this team. Dude, he went off for 10 three-pointers and scored 36 points. Like, at first I thought it was going to be Luka that was going to be smoking us, which he did for a nice period of time in the second quarter where he just kept shooting rainbow threes like he was Dirk in his prime, and everything was just going in. So I thought it really was going to be Luka that was going to be our downfall. But if it was only Luka, I think we would have been fine. But Jesus Christ, Tim Hardaway Jr. This dude can flat out just shoot the ball. And I promise you, next game, whoever the Mavs playing next, he's going to have like 2 points. Because that's just our luck. But talking about the Heat, we played so uninspired. Like, we hit a huge punch to the Mavs early on. We took like an 11, 12-point lead. Everything seemed to be going smooth, but just when the Mavs started punching back, it's like the Heat had no interest in keep the fight going. They just laid down the 50-50 balls. They won everything. Bam. I mean, I'm tired of this Bam discussion. Yeah, he needs to be aggressive, whatever. But that's just, we knew something like this could happen without Jimmy, because frankly, Jimmy is the Miami Heat. Like, he is the entire team, because when he's not in the building, this team has no soul, no fight in them. And it's sad to see, but it's true. If Jimmy was there, if he was at least there in person, I think these people would have played harder. But these guys showed no heart. And I'll give my credit to first quarter Ariza, because he dropped 16 points and got us out to that lead. But after that, he only scored 2. But I want to give him his credit. And Bam, you just wish he would have played 1 or 2 more minutes for that triple-double, man. Yeah, that's all I got.
All right, Jimmy Buckets, what about you?
I think that our guard defense was really bad. That's probably going to be the first thing I would bring up. When Gabe Vincent's the best guard defender in your team, then you have a problem. I think they shot like 22 for 46. It was almost 50% from three. Hardaway torched us. We did decent on Luka. I mean, he still had a triple double, but it was just a low 20-point triple double. So at least he didn't drop a Westbrook bomb on us. But we did good kind of containing him at first, but it just really opened up the door for like Hardaway, Finney Smith, Jalen Brunson. Everybody was splashing. They shot really well. We did not play any perimeter defense on them whatsoever. Everyone looked lost. The switch. I mean, and granted, we're missing good players, but we've missed these players before and been in a situation before. So it's not a new thing to these people. They know what the game plan is with the roster that they have that they can play. It's not like it's completely foreign to them. So I would have liked to see them just go back and learn the lessons of how they messed up before without players like Jimmy, Hero, etc., and just do something. I mean, there's really not much. There's just really not much you can do. You're losing two scoring options. You're losing one of your best defenders. You're losing if Jimmy's not on the court. Everybody does seem lost. You're losing your centerpiece, and without him, Kendrick Nunn. I don't know. I think Kendrick Nunn has some sort of stigma with him where unless Jimmy Butler is on the court with him, he just plays mediocre to bad or mediocre to average or whatever. But I feel like if he can play with Jimmy, he thrives off of him. And I feel like that same thing that we can obviously see with Nunn's probably with the other players, either consciously, subconsciously, in some way. I do wish we could keep what we do in the first quarter every game going for more than one quarter also. And other than that, I'll pass it on to Brian or Angie.
Yeah, I mean, I came into this game thinking, as soon as I saw Jimmy Butler was out, I kind of knew it was going to be a scheduled L. I know that Tim Hardaway Jr. went off, but like this team has struggled with shot creating guards all season. Like this isn't anything new. I mean, plus just the fact that Tim Hardaway Jr. is a legitimately good player. Like if he was on our team, he'd probably be our best guard. So it's whatever, throwaway game. You hope that they can bounce back. This team doesn't have the offense to really keep up with teams when they start to go on a run. I mean, the best that they can hope for is, a flurry from Jimmy or Bam, and maybe a contribution from some third guy, but that's never guaranteed with this team. They don't really have the shot creators. They have the shooting in theory, but, outside of Duncan Robinson, you're kind of banking on someone else to get really, really hot, which doesn't always happen. So it's whatever, move on to the next game and hope that they can get a win.
And what about you?
While this was a more upsetting loss, I wasn't really surprised because, look, Trevor Ariza went 3 for 3 from the three-point line within 2 minutes, made Luka Doncic hit the cha-cha. But but it's games like that where we go off in the first quarter and then the second quarter the team forgets how to like freaking play basketball. Tim Hardaway Jr. was freaking Jordan in his prime yesterday, and then he looked up at his dad's banner in the arena. He was like, "You know what, Dad? I feel your presence in this arena. I'ma take your freaking spirit and just like drop a double-double, go 36 points, freaking it was just." And also, like Jimmy said, when Gabe Vincent's the only person on the floor delivering somewhat good defense and offense, that's a problem. Because especially like against a team like this, I mean, I get it, they have Luka Doncic, Tim Hardaway Jr., JJ Redick, people like that. But even with those types of people and with the players you have on the court at the time, you can still expect to perform somewhat better defense and put up some more like decent rebounds and stuff like that, score some decent points. And, I feel like, again, with Jimmy being out, it was a big impact on our team. And I feel like if he was actually like at the game or at least in like playing the game, it would have had a better impact on our team. Maybe would have won, maybe would have like lost by less than we did. But like I said, we go off the first half and then towards the second half, either we get too ahead of ourselves and we're like, oh, we're up by like 20 by the first half. We got this. Similar to the Chicago game. We were up by 20 by halftime and then won by 8. Like we blow leads too often, and it's either we get tired towards the end or we just get too ahead of ourselves and think, oh, we got this. And then we start slipping. And then we end up losing the lead, either losing the game completely or winning the game by however many points compared to how much we were up by.
Angie, I have something to touch on that with you. Do you think that has to do with the players' mentality of being up that much, or the coach's mentality of being up that much, and how they dictate the rest of the game?
I feel like it's a bit of both. The players thinking, oh, I've dropped however many points on this player or overall. And then it's a bit of Spo, too, thinking, oh, this player's good. We can put a bench player, like maybe put in a Chu or Vincent, or like maybe even Bjelica if he ever sees the light of day on this team again. But I feel like it's a half and half between both the players and Spo, because it's up to the players to perform a certain way and meet a certain expectation, and it's up to Spo to make the right decision and make the right lineup during a certain time in the game. Like if it's towards the end and we're down by maybe I don't know, like say 6 points, you'd put Robinson in there and then get Bam in there to get some good rebounds. And then if Jimmy was in the game, he'd get a couple layups, maybe draw a couple charges, make some free throws. And then again, like towards the end, if we're up by 6, you want to get our defense in there. You throw in Iggy, you get Bam, you get Dedmon, get Ariza in there, people like that. And so it's really just it's half and half, basically, to answer your question.
Good point.
I want to add something to about talking about this game in particular.
Yeah,
we gave the guards a bunch of trash for them just not being existent on defense. The wings were god awful on offense. If you really look at it, outside of that first quarter from Ariza, he had 2 points the rest of the game. Iguodala played 22 minutes at 0 points. Okpala played 20 minutes, had 2 points. Like, the offense from the wings has been awful. Okay, we got to have some conversation about Okpala because he's not it. I'm sorry for the
I used to be a KZ apologist, but now I think that's rubbing off on me a little bit. I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe Okpala doesn't deserve that much minutes anymore because of his empty minutes.
Let's chill on that.
No, no, Brian.
He's
missing
basically
wide
a rookie.
Oh,
He's basically a rookie and didn't come out of college as a shooter. Like he was never going to be a 40% shooter or whatever from 3. That's never been his game.
Yeah.
And let him attack the rim. He doesn't even do that.
Yeah, but he's not allowed to. If he does that, he's supposed to sit his ass on the bench. He's asking him. Spo's asking him to stand in the corner.
No, Spo's only asking him. Spo only puts him in is when he wants an athletic defensive wing person. He doesn't care about his offensive presence. He only throws him there when he wants to lock up on D. And it's like, don't do anything on offense. Probably just go in there and play some hard ass D, make open layup if you got it, and play smart on offense.
Well, that too. I mean, KZ. I mean, yeah, like Jimmy Bucket said, KZ isn't out there for his offense. Like if you watched him last game, I mean, he was at the top of that zone and guarding like 2 or 3 guys on every possession, full court press. Like that is an impressive ass skill. I mean, like objectively, obviously he's not a finished product yet. He's in his second year and barely played in his first. So I feel like we can't give him too much shit because he's a developing raw prospect. But I feel like if we're expecting him to be like Robert Covington already, that's asking a little bit too much. Just enjoy the flashes we get on D, and then he builds from there going forward.
Okay. I'll lay off on Okpala, but when is enough with Iguodala? Because he's just taking up space now. His defense is still there, but it's going downhill a little bit, and his decent to good defense doesn't make up for his awful offensive output.
We just need to rest him
kind of
until
cut
the
him some
playoffs.
slack about that because he is 37 years old. He's getting to that age where he's close to retiring, stuff like
Then
that.
if you're 37,
his ears are a little rusty.
If you're 37, you sit next to the bench next to UD.
I mean,
Yeah,
the way
that's-
he's
that's-
performing
that's an
at
excuse.
37 is something. His defense counting on him to make the occasional corner 3.
I
So-
say we
He
rest him. I say we rest him until the playoffs. Like,
Yeah,
honestly.
he needs. I'm sorry, but he needs to join UD until the playoffs because I don't need him out there right now because he's
But
getting
it's just like, what are
zero
your other options
on offense.
Like, I mean, the only other option at the 4 really is like Bjelica or KZ, who also doesn't really give you much offensively. And, Iguodala is a smarter defender than KZ by far. So at least if you're going to have 2 guys out there whose main thing is just, guard the opposing team's best wing player or guard occasionally and, basically give us something on offense, you'd probably rather go Iggy. And if you're not playing either KZ or Iggy, then who,
Speaking of
It's still-
Bjelica,
it's
is there
still
a
annoying
reason
though,
why Spo isn't giving him as much playing time as he used to?
Because he's bad.
because
I know, but if he's
Because
a
he's
good
a
defender,
beast. He's a beast, Angie.
okay,
He's a
he's
beast.
you know
He
he's too
waddles
much of
down
a
the
beast.
court. He waddles
He's
down the
too
court.
much of a beast. Okay,
isn't that
listen,
a beneficial thing?
I'm not leaving the Belly fan train anytime
Belly.
soon. I'm not leaving this train. So I'm saying he's too much of a beast to be out there.
But isn't that good
Spo-
for us? Shouldn't people be
Spo is
scared of him
saving
if they
him.
know how much of a beast he is?
Spo is saving him for the NBA Finals. That's what's going on.
I mean, in
Okay.
all fairness, like
But if you're just
is a
sitting on the
skilled
bench
big.
not getting any playing time, how are you going to better yourself for the NBA Finals? Think about it.
Well, he's not going to play during the finals. I mean, he's like
No, I
getting
mean
a
that's what
single
Clutch said. He's
minute.
like, "Oh, Spo saving
What?
him for the finals." If he doesn't play regular
How
season games,
the hell are we going to make it to the finals?
There was nothing to
What
mind
the
you,
hell are y'all
Bjelica.
you're getting a little
talking
ahead of
about?
yourself there, Clutch.
Okay.
Slow down.
Holy
You gotta make
moly.
playoffs first. When the Eastern
Obviously,
Conference.
obviously, I'm exaggerating.
He's
Andy,
being
okay?
facetious.
No, I know.
He's being
I know.
facetious.
I'm messing with him.
Okay, so
I'm
if
telling
we
you
want to go, if we want to get into the real like science of it, instead of Belly's not playing because he's bad. Belly's also just not playing because I mean
he's giving
I
more
can't even
people
make the
time.
excuse, but no, because of Dedmon's emergence.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
That is
eventually,
pretty valid.
if Dedmon had not signed with the Heat, let's say that Achua would have kept getting the minutes and he would have kept playing like crap. Because personally, I think Achua needs to be put on ice until he can join a summer league team and do G League for like half a year.
Agreed.
So Belly naturally would have taken those minutes at the 5 as being a stretch big. So that's what would have happened. But Dedmon's emergence, Dedmon has been amazing for the Heat. He's been
Amazing.
the best backup center the Heat have had in years. So
Yep.
Can we talk
that's
about Dedmon?
really the science behind it. Yeah, we can talk about Dedmon
Let's
all
talk
day. I
about
love that. Deadman
He
Duncan.
needs more minutes. Dedmon needs more minutes, bro. He's
I mean, to be-
averaging like 78% shooting on like 42 attempts or something. Last game, he only played 12 minutes, 3 for 3, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, no turnovers. Come on.
The problem is that we're in a stage of the season where we can't experiment because basically when Bam doesn't play, Dedmon plays. But you can't really experiment them together with 6 games and you're fighting to not be in the play-ins.
Wouldn't that be sick if we had got Dedmon before the season?
He
If
would
you
have
gave
solved
him
so many
time,
issues.
I mean,
How much help?
he would. I mean, but if he was healthy, let's just say he was healthy and we got him before the season.
Yeah,
He
still,
absolutely
that's
so much
solved
help.
a million
that's
issues
what I
for us.
meant.
So many
Yeah,
of these games where they get out rebounded and I'm so mad. We replaced all the precious minutes with Dedmon, and they have a
Good.
much better record.
You're complaining
yeah.
about that?
No,
Yeah,
no,
I'm
I think
mad.
we're the-
Sounds like you're
I'm mad.
complaining.
No, I'm
I
upset
think we're
that we didn't get
at
Dedmon
the
earlier.
very least. I think we're at the very least a surefire 4 seed. At least if Dedmon plays all season.
I can see that. That's fair.
yeah.
But we can't just rely on Dedmon, you know.
We
No, I
can't,
mean,
but
hell-
yeah, no,
the
I
hell
mean,
we
Dedmon-
can.
it's
Hell
not
of a lot
Dedmon's
better
in
than
the finals,
Precious.
but yeah, it's such they were getting killed in the precious minutes. If you keep that even, or maybe even win some of those, you definitely have a better record.
At least Dedmon can make free throws. I mean, crap.
It's been twice this year, at least twice, and there's probably more, that Dedmon himself has helped spark a run with Bam and Jimmy on the bench.
I mean, just for context, the Heat are only a couple games behind 2.5 games behind the Knicks. Dedmon is worth more than 2.5 games if he replaces Precious all year. They absolutely get the 4 seed.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. And speaking on the last game versus the Mavericks, it really didn't affect our standings, which is good. Hopefully we can learn from our mistake with the Timberwolves next game, whoop them up, and maybe get a split at Boston, and then I think we'll be just fine. The Hawks have, I think, Phoenix and they have Phoenix and somebody else decent coming up after Phoenix. I know that.
I mean, doesn't Boston play Orlando?
Indiana.
Well, I don't want to say
yeah.
today because this pod will be uploaded after today. So
The next game, their next game.
yeah,
and then
their
they
next
play
game
us
is
back to
versus
back.
Orlando. So
But then
won't that
Boston has to
tie
see us
us
twice.
with Boston? Yeah.
No, we're ahead of Boston. We're ahead of Boston. We're 6, Boston 7 right now. We didn't move from the 6 even after losing last night.
Have they?
No, but she's saying if
I'm
Boston
saying,
wins,
like-
they take the 6 seed.
Oh
No, I'm saying
I'd
we'll be
have to
tied
look.
for
Let me
the
look.
6th seed, won't we? But we'll be ahead because we have
Yeah.
a better
We
home
have the
record.
split. Yeah.
No.
I believe
The
you- wait,
Celtics have a tiebreaker on us.
So, yeah, because we would have
that's what I'm
the
saying.
same
But we're
record.
ahead
Yeah,
because we have something better than them. I think it's a
No,
home record or
No,
something.
if they're tied, then if
they have the
Boston is
tiebreaker.
if Boston has a tiebreaker, then they
Oh,
if
okay.
the Celtics beat the Magic, then they'll be tied with us, but they'll be ahead of us.
But if the
Because
Magic
of the
beat the
tiebreaker,
Celtics,
then
That's
that will
not
put
happening.
the.
That's not happening. Let's
Yeah,
be
bro,
honest.
I
they
wouldn't bet
snapped
on that.
OKC's
We
14
take
game
it.
losing
We
streak.
need to take a serious look at firing Brad Stevens if he loses to the Thunder and the Magic.
I'm all for that. Like, honestly, I mean,
Hey,
if they can snap OKC's 14 game losing streak, but I get it. Oh, they didn't have Jason Tatum. Jaylen Brown dropped 39 points, and you're telling me you couldn't have won? Okay.
hey, Wendell Carter Jr. is about to put 40 and 20 on them. Let's go, Magic. Come on.
I completely forgot
Anthony
he's on the
Cole's about
Magic.
to hit another game winner. We did
Anthony
this.
Cole.
We live for these. I live for these
It's
moments.
Cole Anthony.
Oh,
Anthony.
Anthony, baby.
Same thing.
Anthony Cole.
Hey, we're gonna be big Anthony Cole fans.
His last name's his first name and vice versa.
20
I know,
minutes,
right?
20 seconds. Remember this so I can come back and save the clip.
Yeah,
No,
no,
20 minutes, 30 seconds.
he's a killer. I hope he goes insane on him. He's a killer.
Terrence Ross, bro. Let him be the random scrub Heat saver tonight.
Random scrub Celtics killer.
Yeah.
Come on, T.
All
Ross.
for it. All for it.
Just pretend like you're playing the Heat, Terrence.
Oh, anyways, someone had brought up UD. When do you think UD is gonna make his breakthrough game this season? I want to see UD drop 10 rebounds in like 10 minutes, like he's been saying.
You'll probably play like the very last game.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Suppose
he blows out the Pistons. He'll probably play a garbage time or whatever.
You know what? Yeah, the Pistons. That should be a.
He needs
The
to play
timeline's
minutes.
gonna go crazy.
He needs to play minutes to qualify for his season for it to count as a season. I think.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So Spo's gonna play him. He's gonna play, but I would like to see him. I would like to see him play like for a little bit of a run because he's still got it in him. He's still got something in him. I just want to see what happens. I think it would be awesome.
You know what he has in him? He has 6 fouls in him. That's all we need.
That's fantastic. That's so.
Spo just needs to say when teams are like bodying us. Spo just needs to say, "Hey, UD, you got 6 fouls. Go out there."
Yeah, promote Clutch to assistant coach right now. that's great.
I feel like if we were to play a team and we're up by like 30 plus points, I feel like that'd be a good time to put him in. But then again, like the Pistons game, like Brian said, that'd be the most reasonable game.
Yeah, it's either the Wolves or the Pistons because we're seeing after that we're seeing the Celtics, the Bucks, and the Sixers.
Oof.
Yeah.
You know, I bet we might see UD during that Sixers game. I feel like Spo's going to put him on MB for a possession just to foul him. MB's going to be hot, and then he's going to be like, "All right, UD, go in."
He's going to be like, "Go put MB back in that Phantom mask, UD."
Yeah, exactly. So.
Anyways, but yeah, moving forward, y'all brought up this tough schedule for Miami moving forward. One question I want to ask is, looking at these upcoming games, if you have to be real right now, what do you think Miami's going to finish the season as? Like, what seed specifically? Do you think they finish as the 7th seed? Do they finish right now as the 6th seed? Or do they finish as what we'd want them to be, the 4 or 5 seed? Like, what's y'all honest opinion of where this Heat team will go come the season ending?
Honestly, I don't care where we end up as long as we don't end up in the play-in tournament. That's all I have to say. I know, it's very intimidating. But because you know what's scary about it? You can get like blown out by like the Hornets or the Wizards, like that type of thing. So it's a scary. You never know how it's gonna go with those teams because it's always the teams you expect to beat that you lose to, and vice versa.
We know for a fact that in that play-in, like whatever scrubs have killed the Heat all season are gonna go for 40 or 50.
Bro, can you imagine when we see the Hornets in the play-in?
Malik Monk's gonna drop 50. LaMelo Ball's gonna have another triple-double, bro.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad. They need to avoid that at all costs.
Yeah, when we play the Pacers and TJ McConnell has 11 steals.
I really don't care.
We had an easy schedule in front of us, and we dropped so many easy games that we should have had, and now the end of the season is like hard.
But you know what it is?
So maybe they'll rise to the occasion.
You know what it is? Wherever we end up in the standings, it's going to be difficult because I feel like depending if we end up in like the 5th seed, it's going to be a hard matchup versus.
No, then we'll have the Knicks. That won't.
Yeah,
be
no,
hard.
I'm so confident that
They've
they
been
can beat
going
the
off
Knicks.
lately. They're like
I
they're
want
they're
it.
starting to get scary.
I want the 5 seed. Oh, the Knicks don't have any answer for it. No.
I'm
Yeah,
saying if
we
we
know
end
we're
up in
not
the
Knicks.
fourth, if we end up in like the 4th seed,
We,
and then we have to
we
go
won't-
against.
we won't end up in the 4th seed. I don't think.
Angie, the Knicks haven't beat us this season. Period.
Yeah, I mean, plus Bam on
That's very
Julius
true.
Randle for a whole series, like their
that'll
best
be
player
over.
is going to be
Out.
And
Yep.
we forget how Spo has already mopped the floor with Thibodeau once in the NBA playoffs.
Yeah, that's where the 5th seed, the 4-5 versus the Knicks is where they need to be.
Yeah, you want the
I
4-5
think-
matchup.
Yes.
Yeah, I think they're probably going to end up. See, it's weird though because like from 4 down, it's all separated by like a game or two. So who knows? It's going to be like random seeding. I feel like they're probably going to end up being 6, which I don't like because the Bucks are really, really good, and I know that they beat them
I was
last
just gonna
year,
say
but
that.
Drew Holiday is a damn good player, and they
Giannis
actually
is
have shooting. Yeah, Giannis is also pretty damn good. But like I said, that 4-5 is where they absolutely need to aim for. Otherwise, it's going to be a short.
The
short
ideal
playoffs.
situation is Miami being a 4-5 seed, having the matchup with the Knicks or the Hawks. I don't know, and then the 1 seed being Philadelphia. That would be the key.
Yep.
I mean, whoever's 8th seed is most likely going against Philly. Maybe Brooklyn makes a comeback. Both are scary teams. 7th seed, same thing.
Right, but I'm saying
it's
you want to
wishy-washy
see
between Philly and Brooklyn.
Philadelphia. You want to see Philadelphia in the 2nd round before you see Brooklyn.
Yep.
Both teams are scary. So if you're an 8th or 7th seed, I'm praying for you.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm not scared of Philly.
So what happens? I got a question because I'm looking at this right now. I'm looking at the Eastern Conference standings. I'm trying to do the calculated hangover,
play-in
like
math.
Allen in the Hangover. I'm trying to do all those numbers in my head right now. What happens if we do end up the 6th seed? Have to play the Bucks stay the 3. We play the Bucks in the 1st round, beat the Bucks. What would our 2nd round matchup be? I don't have our bracket in front of me or anything.
It would be the 2-7 winner.
Yeah,
It would be that would be Nets.
Yeah.
Oh shoot. Yeah, so we would definitely want a 4-5.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's no way they beat
Being
the
a
Bucks and
6th
the
seed-
Nets back to back.
No,
Being a
no
6
way.
seed,
Hey man, they can
basically
have a
guarantees
repeat
you
of
an
last
early exit.
season.
Mm-mm.
The Bucks went.
That's not the
like,
same man.
first seed.
That's not the same animal.
It's
No,
not
I'm-
the same Bucks.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying like the Brooklyn can have what Milwaukee had last season. They went 1st seed overall, like the entire league, and then they almost get swept by us. in the playoffs.
They are injury prone. They're only an Achilles away from losing one of their best 3 players in the league. I mean, I'm just saying they lose one, they still got they lose one, they still have Bammy and Jim.
Bammy.
Bammy.
No, I know I switched that backwards. Bammy and Jim instead of Jim and Bammy. But no, they're still good no matter what happens to the Nets. They're still dangerous.
It's like James Harden's out. Now we just got to deal with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving.
I mean, if you think
Yeah,
about it,
no big
Milwaukee's
deal.
been performing really good against Brooklyn, considering they don't have Harden, but they have Durant
But they also
and
have
Irving.
one of the best 3 defenders in the league too.
Very
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
So you want to avoid Brooklyn until the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm not going to think ahead because to make the Eastern Conference Finals is still going to be a trip. But I'm gonna try to get this out there. I'm not scared of Philadelphia. I'm really not.
Me
I
neither.
think Miami matches up well, except maybe Embiid will probably win the matchup, to be honest. But Ben Simmons is not going to have a good series. He's
I
not
can't
having a
wait
good
to
time
see
against
Bam
Eric
just
Spoelstra.
freaking guard the crap out of Ben Simmons, bro. That'll be like the biggest. I feel like if Ben Simmons doesn't put up good stats while guarded by Bam, that's automatically Bam's like breakthrough moment for Defensive Player of the Year. Because
No, I was gonna say Seth
yeah.
Curry though. Seth Curry is gonna go off on this team.
But if they put Bam on Ben Simmons, who the hell are they going to put on Embiid?
Yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah.
Bam on Embiid and probably
It's going to be
on-
Ariza. It's going to be Jimmy or Ariza on Ben Simmons and
I
Bam
can
on
see
Embiid.
the way Miami switches. Bam is going to end up on most possessions on somebody like Tobias Harris or Ben Simmons, and then you're going to have Jimmy on Embiid at some points just because of
Okay.
how the
That's
switching works.
fine.
Well,
because of how this-
yeah, I don't.
Jimmy's a tough guy. He knows how to handle Embiid.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
but
Yeah.
I don't like that switching. Because
I don't
they've
either.
been doing that all season, and I feel like Embiid on anybody in the post is going to be barbecue chicken damn near every time. It's gonna be like Embiid on Duncan Robinson for a lot of the game. I feel like they're gonna find a lot of those mismatches. Tobias Harris specifically is gonna definitely hunt that Duncan Robinson mismatch and go to work.
You're right. That's terrifying. That is a flaw in our system.
Yeah,
What you just said. That's a major flaw in our defensive switching scheme. Is what you just said. When Duncan gets switched on the bigs, because that's what they're targeting. It's just like chess. They're targeting that. They're making the moves to make that happen.
exactly. Like I don't know if Bam doesn't switch, then cool. But they've been doing that all season.
But
Spo
also-
adjusting the playoffs. I'll give him
Also,
that.
don't forget that historically Spo goes zone against Philly.
We have not done well zone lately, and we have not played zone well lately, which I don't understand. I know it has a lot to do with the injuries that we have out in our second unit.
We haven't had a healthy team.
We haven't had a full
zone.
team. I know that's what I'm just saying. Yeah, that's the exact transition I was getting ready to get into. Is we haven't had a full team all season, so we haven't been able to maybe even practice with it or implement it in games with the team that we want to be in the final, like like our fourth quarter, like our closing. Like we haven't really had that opportunity much this year because of COVID and injuries.
But the problem is that Philly also has the shooting to bust his own. Like I said, this is absolutely gonna be a Seth Curry series. He's gonna destroy whoever's guarding him. I think even I don't know what Danny Green is shooting.
Danny Green
this year. Yeah,
he's decent.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
they got Thobel, Curry, Green.
Yeah, exactly. Like that team just provides a lot of problems for the Heat. This isn't the same team as last year. Okay, and Green is shooting 40% from three,
and they're good. And you can't forget how good Philly is on defense either.
No, that too. And we already know that the Heat are not a good offensive team, so like it's not a matchup that I think would favor the Heat.
The key for the Heat in that matchup would be just create turnovers. That's the only way I could see them actually making a run at the Sixers. I'm still not really scared, but creating turnovers would be the key for Miami.
I don't think they can match up offensively. I think it would be a defensive battle. I think both offenses would struggle, honestly. I think that we would give them problems. They would give us problems. I see them giving us a little bit more problems, but I don't know. You never know. You never know if we're fully healthy, and you don't know. Spo is notorious for not running schemes in the regular season and waiting until the playoffs. So we don't know what he has in store or what he can unleash on either side of the ball.
Spo can be a completely different coach when it comes to the playoffs.
Yeah, so that's my only hope. That and Jimmy saying, "Get me to the playoffs, I'll do the rest," which I fully believe in.
Jimmy's not going to let go of a Sixer series that easily to either.
Hell no.
That's going to be a hard fought series.
That'd be a big slap in the face for him.
Like
it would be a huge slap in the face.
Yeah, like the Sixers aren't going to sweep the Heat or anything, but I think if I was going to bet on a team and I really wanted to keep my money, I'd probably bet on the Sixers just because I mean they're one of the best teams in the league. Obviously, like it's not like it's a team full of scrubs or anything.
I'll take the Heat money line in that series. Probably get me like plus 250. Throw a couple hundred on it. but going into it expecting the worst. But you never know. You don't know.
You just bet that money not expecting to get it back.
Yeah. That's the beauty of the money line. If you bet it and you bet on the dog, you can get you some odds and make you a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. The Sixers are good. I would rather have the Sixers than the Nets in the second round though.
Oh yeah.
Also depends what Oladipo we're going to see out there if and when he comes back.
Forgot about that one. We can transition into that. We can transition into that because I know Joel wanted to talk about that as Oladipo's return and timetable and what you guys think of what his timetable would be returned this season if he's going to be back in the regular season playoffs or because I mean, what do you guys think on that? Because I know it's up to him, I believe, from what I've understood.
I mean, he's definitely there. I've seen him on the sidelines at some of the games, so he's definitely with the team. But considering we have like 6 games left, I'm pretty sure it's ultimately up to him, like you said, unless that's mainly Spo's decision. But I feel like it's ultimately up to Depot. But I'd love to see him return within these few couple games that we have left. But there might be a slim chance that he might not join us back until playoffs. So
I think
I
we're
don't
gonna
know.
know this because we're going to Boston for 2 games, and we're gonna know if he's on his way to coming back because we're gonna see if he's gonna travel with the team or not.
Yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
Ultimate inside reporting there, Clutch. My man.
My man.
My man. No, that's a very logical point. Very,
Yeah.
very, very logical point.
And one thing I want to say though about Oladipo is like, and it's kind of like a question. How much do you? Because and this might be a dumb question, but I want to bring this up because I feel like people kind of forget how much of an impact he'll really make for a team. So assuming he comes back eventually, how much of how much do you think he will move the needle for this Heat team come playoff time? This might seem like a dumb question, but like I
If
said,
he comes back in his Lakers form, when he played against the Lakers that game he got injured, I think we'll be just fine, and I think that moves the needle for Miami in the playoffs.
If
Yeah,
he,
I have no idea what he's gonna look like when he comes back. This is such a huge scale of like what Victor Oladipo could do. If he looks like healthy Vic, then this team could go pretty damn far. If he's gonna come back and be kind of like 60-ish% of himself, I mean, it's an upgrade. He's still one of the better guards in the team, but I just don't know how big of an impact the 60-ish to 70% Victor Oladipo has.
I just wish there was more transparency. I know he's one of the most mysterious NBA athletes over the last like 10 years.
Mhm.
Like as far as what's wrong with him and what teams put out about him, and I feel like everybody's just throwing a veil over everything and not being nobody. I don't think anybody's ever been transparent, including him. Because
He's just
he was a
posting on
superstar.
Instagram.
Yeah, I
hate
know.
that.
He's
These
posting
little inspirational quotes.
he's
Yeah.
posting 45-year-old Karen memes on Instagram. I mean, like, come on, Vic, go get with your physical trainer, get off Instagram, get your knee where you feel comfortable. I think it's all in your head. Your knee is fine. There's no damage. You've had X-rays. You've had experts. They're like, bro, you're good. You got a little tweak. You got scared. Pick up your you know what's and get back on the court and help the organization you've been dying to play for forever get into the playoffs and excel in the playoffs. Do your job, bro. Get a contract. You already screwed up with Houston by missing out on 2 years, 42 milli. You're not going to get that again, buddy. So play your ass off and help your team, help your city that you're from, and help us go as far as we can in the playoffs and quit being a little, whatever.
Oh my god.
I
scary.
respect that so much.
I mean,
No,
but
I've never
I
heard
do-
that
I
side
love-
of you, Jimmy. Jeez.
That's
I
a little
love-
animosity built up towards him, man. Because I've always liked him, but
He's been holding that in forever, and he's just letting it out now.
Yeah, it's frustrating because it's on him. I know it's on him from people I've talked to, from other people. Like, it's on him. It's not on anybody else. The doctors have cleared him. It's up to him. It's his contract year. It's up to him. I mean, either don't play and be broke and don't maybe go to a crap team and never make any money, but you already screwed stuff up. But I mean, I understand he passed it down with Houston because he wanted to come here. He didn't want to be in Houston. He wants to be in Houston. That's the most poverty franchise-stricken city in America, probably, with the Texans and the Rockets. They're awful, and just get out of there. But he got a little boo-boo and he got scared. Doesn't want to get hurt again. But you're not hurt, bro. Just it's mental. It's mental.
Promise
It's
you,
mental.
That's the thing that you said about transparency, because we don't know, but it looks that way. That it's Depot's choice, because if Depot can play and he chooses not to, what do you think that tells Pat Riley when it comes to offseason time? He's like, this isn't a Heat culture guy. Heat cultures guy push through stuff like that.
Joe won't let me say those words on the air, so I won't comment on.
But that I want to say though, I mean, have any of you guys maybe because personally I've thought this, you look at the season and you've seen how much players go down because of injury. Have you thought that perhaps maybe Miami hasn't thought about playing Oladipo in these past few games because they're just simply wanting to put the bubble wrap on him and make sure that he doesn't, get injured? Because remember, Miami did have a tough schedule earlier, having to play, 8 games in 12 nights. And it's those type of schedules, like those type of stretches in the season where you could potentially end up getting injured, So
Okay.
obviously you want to make sure that he's healthy and everything, but I also look at it from a standpoint where you just want to put the bubble wrap on Oladipo and make sure nothing bad happens, sort of play it safe.
Well,
What are you saving him for? Christmas?
yeah, that that stretch of 8 games in 12 nights is over. Wake up, sunshine. It's time to go.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah. Either poop or get off the pot. Like it's not them saving him. That's why that we don't hear anything from the organization, the coaches, or anybody. They're like, we blah blah blah, and keep giving BS responses and stuff because he's already been cleared through their medical doctors and everything to play. They can put him in whenever they want to. He is choosing not to play. That's what's going on. I promise you.
Yeah, that's incredibly frustrating. I mean, generally, I'm on the side of like, I don't know. Like I'm not in Victor Oladipo's body. I don't know how he's feeling. It kind of reminds me of. I mean, not exactly the same. That the Kawhi thing was like way more in depth, but it kind of is similar in the sense where it's like the player saying like, hey, I know my body, something weird is going on. I don't want to risk it. Versus the team, the doctor saying like, no, you're fine. And I'm not privy to those really intimate details about what he's thinking about how his own body is and what like the actual medical side is. And I definitely believe that the doctors think he's okay. But from the outside looking in, it is a little bit frustrating. I do give him the benefit of the doubt. If he says that he wants to take it slow, hey man, your body, do whatever. I just think that he has to consider that, like you guys have been saying, like it's going to be hard for the Heat to trust him in his body and want to give him a big contract. If he's cool playing for the mid-level exception, then cool. I'm sure the Heat would love to have you back on really cheap money. But, I feel like if you are committed to the team and this is a place where you've been wanting to be and show out, then yeah, you probably should play if you can. But, again, if you don't want to take that risk, I get it. But he can't really complain about anything that might happen as a result of that.
It's his future. It's up to him. It's his future. It's up to him. It's his future, money, contract, life on the line. So if he doesn't feel right, then yeah, like you said, we don't know what he's going.
And then
it's so frustrating because we could have got Lowry, we could have got somebody else. Like I would have give him Herro. I don't care, bro. He was doing nothing. I don't care. Give him Herro. We could have had Lowry. Could have re-signed him for like a couple years, 1 year play or 1 year team option, second year. Had Lowry. Lowry's a tank. Got the biggest booty in the world. Nobody's hurting him. Bounce him off his butt and score. 20 points a game, get you 10 assists a game, help lead your team because he's a general. Like I wish we had gone that route or Alonzo Ball route.
Yeah, I agree. Like I feel like at a certain point, I'm not sure if Victor thought this far ahead, but it's like, why wouldn't you just sit out the year with Houston? If you are hurt and you want to make sure that you are 100%, like just tell the Heat through whatever back channel is like, hey, I'm going to sit out the rest of the year to get my body right, and then I'm going to come to you guys in the offseason. Like, because that's essentially what this is. It feels like he's just going to sit out until the offseason, which he could have done, and then he could have made other moves to get closer to playoff contention, and kind of go that route. But it seems that he wanted to get to Miami early to just sit out, it's just weird to me. It seems like a little bit of a sloppy arrangement.
But yeah, obviously, if you're a Heat fan, you hope that Oladipo comes back soon, especially because, I mean, first of all, if he is to come back, you want it to be during the regular season. You don't want him to come back in the middle of the playoffs where it's kind of as if he's falling from the sky. Because at the end of the day, this isn't a guy who's been a member of the Heat his whole life. Like he's only played 4 games with us. So with that being said, if he is to return this year, hopefully before the season ends. And, one other player I want to quickly talk about, who's also been injured, and it's kind of concerning considering his age, is none other than Tyler Herro. How do you guys feel about that?
His injuries?
Yeah.
Or just the player in general? Oh, okay. I don't know what's going on with his body. It's a similar thing where it's like, I'm not a doctor, so I can't say how badly he's injured. If he's hurt, there's nothing you can do. In theory, he is, for a team that really struggles on offense, I think that he could solve a lot of their issues, but if you can't play, you can't play. So it's whatever. Hopefully he gets healthy and comes back soon.
Honestly, I didn't think his injury was as bad as it was, to be honest. But now seeing that he's been out for, what is it, like 6-7 games now?
Something like that, yeah. He's been out for a while.
But like, considering the slump he's had, not saying he can't come out of that slump, of course, but he's been averaging like 8 points per game, like the past 3 games that, like, the last time he's played. But like you said, Brian, for a team that struggles on offense, he can either help with that or make it even worse, because if he doesn't get out of that slump soon, then he's not going to see much minutes off the bench during playoff time. Just being realistic.
Kind of hard to come out of that slump when you've missed 6 games.
Yeah, that's that too. So.
True, and I'm not the biggest Tyler Herro fan in the world, but I do think he's a good player, and he's a huge contribution off our bench when healthy. I believe he's gone through a lot this last year that a lot of people don't know about. Like, I know he had COVID. I think his injury history this year has been a little bit more severe than has been put out. I think that he is a little bit more banged up than the organization's put out, because he's a young kid and he's hungry. Like, that dude has heart. He wants to play. So it's complete opposite of like an Oladipo situation. If Tyler can play, Tyler's going to want to play. That dude wants the ball. It's not like he does not want to play. So that makes me think the injury is a little bit more severe than it is, because I know how Tyler's heart is and how his drive is and how competitive he is. And if he could be on the court, he would be on the court if it was up to him, I believe.
I mean, I see how people say, "Oh, he's 21. He shouldn't be getting hurt like that." Da 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 da. But if you look at him, he hasn't really developed an NBA body yet to play 70 games a season, or 82 when that goes back to normal. But this year, 72. He hasn't really developed that NBA body that could keep him healthy throughout a season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, also, I think that, just to your point, Flesh, like, when people say, like, "Oh, you're 21, you're 22, you shouldn't be," like, 21 and 22-year-olds get hurt all the time. Like, we're still human beings, right? Like, it's not impossible for a young person to get injured and have to be out for a while. You're playing an extremely, like, one of the most athletically challenging sports in the world, doing it in a really short time span, considering you had the full season or nearly a full season last year, and then you had a really short off season this year, and then you're right back in it. You're playing high minutes every night. You're expected to do a lot on offense. Like, it makes sense that a guy would get hurt in his position. So I don't know. I also trust that Tyler Herro is a guy that wants to play. I don't think it's anything where he's milking an injury or whatever. Like, if he can be out there, he will be out there. So it's just, you got to give him time.
Hey, Brian, I want to ask you something real quick, because I know that you're very intellectual and really in depth in a lot of stuff. Do you
Thank you.
You're welcome, man. You're welcome. Listen, do you think that, like, this is something that I've always thought about? Like, people bash Herro all the time online. People bash him. He's a great player, but listen, his first year in the league was a shortened COVID season. Then he had a bubble playoffs. Then he has an immediate start to a next season. This is the most unorthodox 2 years in NBA history, and it's his first 2 years in the NBA. So we got to give him a break at some point, because who else has gone through this besides the rookies that came out when he did? And he's one of the better players in that class that's kept consistent, kept steady, and it's not his fault. I'm not a Tyler Herro fan. I'm not a fanboy. I like him as a player. I'm a big Jimmy guy. Love Bam. But other than that, I just think everybody needs to give him a break.
Yeah, I feel like part of it, and like, I bash Tyler Herro a good amount, partially because it's fun, partially because of the Katia vaccine thing, and he's like, he just catches strays,
bro.
But yeah, I feel like part of it's because Twitter specifically had such high expectations for him. When the James Harden and the Bradley Beal stuff came around, everyone was like, "No, don't move Tyler for him," and it just kind of raises his, I guess, persona to be this guy that's like he's not the franchise player. He's not the face of the Heat, but it almost kind of feels like it that sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like the reality of who Tyler Herro is and what kind of value what kind of value he provides to an NBA team is different from the perception. Like, I think that if you just view Tyler Herro as a six man who can come off of anybody's bench and provide instant offense and be really, really good in that role, provide some playmaking, provide some catch and shooting, I think, he'd be a fine player. Like, I think he can be helpful on a team. I think that if you're looking at him as like a star player who's going to take you to the finals and win multiple championships or whatever, then it's a little off, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, to your point, yeah, he has had a really weird first 2 seasons, and is in any normal 2 seasons would he be a better player? Maybe. I think that's totally possible. I mean, I think that he does deserve more time in a more normal setting to kind of get his bearings. But again, I think that if we just kind of keep the expectations more realistic, then even without these weird 2 seasons, he still looks like a fine player. Just if he keeps that like Lou Will role, he'll be fine. He'll be all right, and he's gonna improve over time. He's only 21, but it's just that we have to be willing to give him that time to grow.
Yeah, heck yeah. Let me throw in one thing real quick, just before I forget. We got to keep that in mind with Precious and KZ too. They could be spending time with Sioux Falls and developing. So why? But there's no Sioux Falls because of COVID. So I just wanted to throw that in. Yeah, I mean everybody knows that, but we got to give everybody a break because this is an unorthodox last couple of years. So
absolutely.
Yeah, the Precious. Just to touch on that Precious thing you just mentioned, because we're pretty sure this season, if everything was normal, Precious would have spent at least like half a season in Sioux Falls.
Mm-hmm.
That's like almost a given because he just doesn't. The way he's been playing, the way he's been producing, doesn't look like a type of guy that Spo keeps on the main roster the entire season. A rookie that you keep on the main roster the entire season. Back to Tyler, I think that 37-point game in the Eastern Conference Finals didn't do him any favors to Heat Twitter fans because the expectations just went through the roof, and he certainly didn't help himself with that little snarl in the NBA Finals. So he's unfairly getting expectations because of that huge game in the Eastern Conference Finals. But yeah, he also isn't doing himself any favors with that little snarl.
I also think he's doing him favors for his bank account.
Oh, absolutely. All those endorsement deals. But I also think that part of it is the Heat's fault a little bit because remember, they came out and they told the guy, hey, we think you can be better than Devin Booker. They leaked that to the media. So now everybody's thinking like, damn, we got a guy who's picked at the same spot as Devin Booker that went to the same school, who knows the guy who says that he models his game after Devin Booker can now be better than Devin Booker. So now it's this whole like, whoa, we really got a player on our hands. Because you look at Booker and you're like, damn. So I don't know. Part of it is I think that the Heat themselves need to kind of chill out on their expectations and what they sell to the fans, and just kind of until he shows that, let's all just keep everything in perspective, give him the regular ass expectations, and then go from there. If he exceeds them, great. If it doesn't, also fine, you move on. But I typically like the motto of under promise and over deliver. And I think that right now for Tyler, it's kind of been the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you're the Heat, you need to market your stars more. You need to sell your stars. Don't sell your rookies because you don't know what to expect from them. Market your stars more. Market Bam more. Market Jimmy. Jimmy's the best player on the team, and somehow Tyler Herro is the most marketed player on the team. He sells the most jerseys. So it's odd. Just market your stars more. Don't put unnecessary pressure on these rookies.
You know what the problem is with that? It's that ever since last season, after he dropped his 37 points against Boston, his expectations have skyrocketed, and people hold this ultimate, like, I don't even know the word for it, but they just hold him to such a high, like, prestige of greatness, and they think he's the be-all, end-all for our team when he's really not. He could be traded for an all-star player or just another great player like that. You know what I mean? It's just like they hold too high of a standard for him. That's what I was gonna say. They expect him to do so much, being 21 years old, his second year in the Heat, let alone the NBA. That's not an easy task to accomplish what he did last season. And the fact that they think he can do it again like it's nothing is nothing. Like they think it's some easy task when it's not. It's just like
touche, Angie.
And then the problem is also, again, there's a report recently from Ethan and Ira that the Heat were becoming a little bit fed up with Tyler Herro's own perception of his celebrity status. And on one hand, like, I don't really blame him. Like, he's a guy in his early 20s who's been getting, all this praise from the fans, his own team,
Do you think he's tired of
players.
it personally? Like, do you think Tyler's tired of it?
The Miami Heat,
20-year-old.
the Miami
He
Heat
loves it.
gave but the Miami Heat complained about that, but they were the one who gave it to him. They were
Yeah,
the one.
that's what I'm saying.
they
Like,
created it.
Like,
They created it.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Baby
23,
goat,
and
boy
if someone gave me a multi-million-dollar contract, and it's not like they could pay me any less than that, but if someone gave me a multi-million contract, and every day I was hearing that I'm the shit and I'm gonna be this and I'm gonna be that, like, yeah, it would get to your head. Like, he's still a kid relative to like most adults, and
He just passed the
kid,
legal drinking age.
well, that's
like
what I'm saying.
4 months ago.
It's really not a shock that his head would get kind of big and he would kind of feel himself a little bit. Like, that's what happens if you give that kind of power to a 20-year-old guy. Like, it just makes sense, right?
And
So-
another
thing
thing
you
with
have
most
nobody to blame but
players, when,
yourself.
like,
Right, exactly. Like, I don't blame Tyler for that. Like, any other person his age in his position would probably be feeling the same way.
and like
100%.
this just isn't with Tyler. It's with all players. Like say you are having a recent slump, like Tyler Herro or like Robinson did before the trade deadline. You see all the things that people are saying on the internet, and that gets to your head, and then that either motivates you to do better, or you just you take it to heart and think, you know what, maybe I'm not good enough. I'm just gonna stop trying. Or you really do try your hardest, and then it just backfires and
Yeah,
does a whole
I ain't
180
forget what
on
some of
you.
y'all be saying about Duncan. I ain't forget.
I didn't say nothing bad about
I
him.
never slandered Duncan.
I like Duncan.
I
I
love
like
Duncan. Miami runs on Duncan.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you never hear no Duncan slander over here. That's the man.
Oh,
People get mad
are,
at Duncan
hey,
when
you
he
know
when he
what?
slumps, and it's like, shooters slump all the time. People
Exactly.
are showing Duncan.
You know
That's
what?
the man.
I said I was going to come onto this podcast with the intention of pissing off some of the Heat Twitter, and this is what I'm going to do. You're going to pay Duncan Robinson. I'm sick of everybody saying
That's
no.
not gonna piss nobody off.
You're-
Pay
Yeah,
the man.
literally.
Have
He
to.
deserves
Have
it.
to, yeah.
Look
Pay
at the
him.
Heat versus the World Chat. This is a straight call out. I'm sorry, but
Call him out.
they don't want to pay Duncan. They do not. They want to pay him to
Well,
trade
then
him.
get out of the chat. Then pay
Duncan
Duncan his money.
is a massive part of the offense. What would they do?
The offense wouldn't run without him.
Yeah,
bro.
how would they replace that shooting with who?
Impossible.
I mean, Kendrick
Yeah,
Nunn
because-
is pretty good from three,
No.
but
Yeah,
that's not
but he's
replacing
not-
Duncan.
no,
That's
no,
not
no,
replacing
yeah.
Duncan.
No.
No one's replacing
Listen,
Duncan. I mean,
a point that was made in one of the spaces that we had the other day was, well, the Heat could get a shooter to replace him because shooters aren't hard to come by, and the Heat historically have not paid shooters. Well, the Heat have not had a shooter like Duncan Robinson ever.
I mean,
Amen.
Mike Miller.
Amen.
No,
no.
Mike Miller wasn't even that big of a
Mike
part
Miller
of
was
the
great,
offense.
but
He was great.
No, but he wasn't a focal point in the Heat offense like Duncan.
Yeah, they don't game plan for Miller. They game plan for Duncan.
Yeah.
But Miller was great, and he's also tall and has a good release and a great shot. So you're right on that. But Miller was also just a role player. Duncan's more a focal point of the whole offense and how our offense runs, and everything else that we do through our offense is because of Duncan, because how they put so much effort into guarding him. It opens up stuff for everybody else. We haven't had a 3-point shooter like that ever. No Ellington, no Capono, no. You can keep going back and back and back. No, there's not anybody
Listen,
like that.
Mike Miller, to me, I've always said this. He's my favorite shooter in Miami Heat history, but
He's sick.
But he was 30. He was like 35, 36 at the time he joined. He wasn't a focal point. He was a complementary piece to LeBron. That's it. But Duncan actually, the offense runs through him. The reason they do so many dribble handoffs is because Duncan can shoot the lights out of that ball.
Mhm.
And everybody's scared of him.
I mean, realistically speaking, what other player has reached 500 threes faster than Duncan Robinson? Nobody. He's the first to do it. That's just shows.
I knew Curry just popped off 300 in a season, but not 500 in the fastest though. So Duncan's got the fastest
there's no way
500.
there's no way you
But-
have a historically good shooter, not
The-
just
the-
a good shooter, a historically good
Historically.
shooter, and
On
then
your
you say
team.
no, I don't
We're
want
not
to
going to
pay
pay
him
him
because he's not
we're
worth
gonna pay
it.
him. Yeah, no way.
Isn't he like
Duncan-
the first Heat player to make like 200 season threes like twice in a row or something like that,
Oh,
or just
yeah.
twice overall?
Yeah, he's done that twice. Yeah, but he's also the second or third best shooter in the NBA. I mean, whatever you want to think. I mean, if they're healthy or unhealthy, besides the two Warriors. So
Look at the list of the most made threes in this season. It's Steph Curry, it's Buddy Hield, and it's Damian Lillard. You're telling me Duncan Robinson is in company with Damian Lillard and Steph Curry? Come on.
I mean,
Well,
also just the
as
fact
far
that
as shooting,
like if they don't pay Duncan and they let him walk, that would be a horrible look considering they could have booed him at the trade deadline and got something really valuable. Like you don't lose out on whether you keep him or trade him. Like you don't lose out on that guy.
they're obviously going to pay him if they didn't put him in these
No,
pieces.
they're going to pay. They're going
he's
to pay him.
He's an untouchable that they didn't make an untouchable in public just so they could use him in bait just to gauge the other team what their stance was. I believe.
Right. Like, I don't think many people are saying don't pay him, period, and just let him walk. They're saying pay him so you can trade him. Nobody, like, the people I've talked to in the Heat versus the World chat and other chats are like, pay him so you can trade him. We don't want to keep him on this team. And that's stupid to me.
I mean, I would trade him depending on who you get.
But even
if you're talking Bradley Beal, we can talk.
Yeah, even if we pay him, we still get to keep him, and then if we ever decide to have an opportunity for a Bill or a Lillard or a something in the future, and he is a part of it, at least he'll have the contract to match.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you keep him, and either he plays for you and he's part of your offense, or you trade him to a team who wants great shooter.
But he'll have the contract then.
Yeah, I mean that too. Like it just makes all the sense in the world to pay him. Like you have to.
Because you're gonna get an asset either way. You're gonna get a valuable piece either way. A huge valuable contributor to your team, which he's been so far for the time he's played with us. Or if he falls off, or if your offense changes,
right?
Yeah. No. But listen, if he falls off or our team, the dynamic changes or whatever, you still have that big contract that you can use to bring in another big piece.
Yeah.
And like I said, you only trade him for a perennial all-star. You're not trading him for example Tim Hardaway Jr. or some dumb stuff like that.
I think Duncan has more trade value than Herro. I don't know why everybody's off on Herro. Duncan's the more valuable player by far. I think
right now, yeah. If I'm building a team, if I'm trying to win a championship, I'd want Duncan Robinson.
Andy's learning how to play defense and get to the rim, cut back to the rim, get the dribble, the laser passes the rim, lay him up. He's doing good. Like he's playing.
Do you know what teams like the Lakers, Clippers, Nets would do for somebody like Duncan Robinson?
Oh yeah.
They'd murder for somebody like him.
They'd sell their soul.
Exactly. Like, do you know what LeBron would do to have a shooter like that next to him?
Yeah, anything.
And Duncan Robinson creating space for AD and LeBron, that'd be perfect.
Jesus Christ, that would be scary.
Maybe. God damn it.
And it would be my worst nightmare.
That would be so scary. Yeah, we have to keep Duncan. This might be, Joe, you might need to title this the Duncan Robinson Appreciation Podcast. Maybe everybody will be quiet.
We do appreciate it, some Duncan Robinson.
Or maybe Duncan can listen to this and think, "Hey, shit, man, maybe I can hop on these cats' podcast."
He will listen. No, what's up, Duncan? No, he probably will. He probably will.
What's up, Duncan?
Duncan has an open invitation. He knows this.
He does. No, his podcast is great. Let's all just message him after this and be like, "Look, Duncan, we love you. We did a segment on you today. We're with 5 Reasons.
Tag him and his pod.
Come on, we just had a 2-time All-Star. Let's go, Duncan. Jump on. Not All-Star champion. Yeah, champion, All-Star champion.
But anyways, Duncan Robinson, he's definitely turned into a bit of an unsung hero for the Heat. Sometimes people really forget how valuable he really is. So whatever happens with him moving forward, you just got to continue being grateful for the type of player he is. Fastest player in NBA history to make 500 threes. You can't say much about that. But, with that being said, moving forward, let's talk about this upcoming game against the Timberwolves, led by superstar center Naz Reid. How do we feel about this game?
It's completely random because that's how the Heat play. Who knows? They could beat the 96 Bulls, or they could lose to a high school team on any given day.
They could lose to the 2012 Bobcats.
Yeah, honestly,
stop.
I don't know. They could. They
know. That's what I'm saying. It's like stop.
Adam Morrison would have dropped 50 on us.
Yeah,
like stash.
I don't know. I'm gonna say that they're gonna win just because I feel like since they lost this game, people are kind of down on them, and I feel like even though they should be expected to win, now the expectations kind of like meh, and this team goes against expectations. So like a little bit of reverse psychology, are they gonna win the game?
And
You
we
know
haven't
what?
played
At
this team in
this-
4 years.
Brian, we're talking about the Timberwolves here. They just beat us for God knows what reason, and we know that. And now they are going to be on our home court. We are going to
No,
beat
Jimmy,
them
we
by
haven't
30.
played
We're
them
going
in
to
4
beat them by
years.
30 points.
We haven't beat them in 4 years.
I know
Exactly.
we haven't had an NBA player on our podcast except Norris Cole. Hey, listen here. The Heat are going to beat the Timberwolves by 30 points, 25 to 30 points.
That'd be great.
Jimmy Butler's going to play. Jimmy's going to play. Who knows if anybody else is going to be healthy? Iggy will play.
Watch Oladipo pop out tomorrow. I mean, on Friday.
Watch Oladipo pop out or Hero
I feel
pop
like
out or
I feel
something.
like one of
Jimmy's
these days. I feel like one of these days we're just going to see a random tweet come out of nowhere. Oladipo questionable instead of out.
Yep.
Bro.
And everybody's going to lose their shit.
He really is a big deal.
You know what my
man.
answer is? I have no idea what to expect from this team anymore, considering the amounts of games we've lost and won. You know, we beat the Nets, lost to the Timberwolves the game prior, went on a 3-game win streak, lost to an extremely unhealthy Atlanta team, which we should have beat. But, you know, I have no idea what to expect. Exactly. We're questionable. The entire team's questionable.
Bipolar.
So
we just need it. We're just inconsistent.
Exactly.
If we had a full healthy team, I think we would be really
no COVID.
Good.
We would be
no
at
COVID,
least fourth seed.
Yeah, easy. Like
maybe even third.
Yeah, I just think if we had a full healthy team, which maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe we're looking too far into this. Maybe all these rest of all these main players is just because we know we're going to be in the play. Yeah, maybe. You never know, because resting Jimmy that game is going to get him 3 days rest instead of you know he's going to have or more than that, but more days than he would have had. And like also with here other people, maybe we're just knowing that we're in a middle ground, we're in a good spot, but we do playoff seeding does matter because like we were talking before, we do not 4 or 5. We have to be able to get in the 4 or 5. So maybe they have some sort of crazy game plan where they're going to put these people in if they need them, if they don't, who knows? But it just seems like they're gearing up for the playoffs and a run of some sort. But I just don't know how far it's gonna go with the roster we have right now.
Yeah. By the way, the Minnesota games just seem so obvious to me that it looks like a Goran Dragic rest game. So don't be surprised if he's out. It just feels like it to me. Like I feel like Goran's just gonna have a rest day for some reason.
Good.
Yeah. Right. Good.
Yeah, I like it.
Good.
Keep the man healthy because he's still capable.
Let's hope Anthony Edwards
20.
doesn't drop a 40-point triple-double on this on Friday.
He won't. Let's hope Jimmy Butler's back and Kendrick Nunn plays like regular Kendrick
I can't
Nunn
wait.
when he has his security blanket. Like,
Jimmy you think
Butler's
Bam will be guarding Karl Anthony Towns or someone else?
He will until they switch, and then Karl Anthony Towns is going to have anybody smaller than him.
He's going to have Kendrick Nunn on him.
Yeah.
He's going to throw a 2-piece.
If Bam does in fact guard Cat, I cannot wait to see the clamps he puts on that man. Jeez.
Yeah, he will a little bit. Let's throw Dedmon at him too. Dedmon's played great on
Dedmon is scary. Dedmon is
great. What a great pickup.
I know, right?
Boogie,
notice how we have never lost the season with trades.
Boogie, Drummond, this and that, and Aldridge. No, Dedmon is by far the better player.
Pickup.
Yep,
he's the best big man pickup from the buyout market.
Of course, yeah, we did good. Great. I really like him, like a lot. Like I really like that dude. His hustle and his work ethic and how he just comes in and he's all business. He should wear a suit while he plays basketball.
A tuxedo. Wow.
Yeah, he should.
A vice-colored tuxedo. Shoosh.
Good.
I said I went to say shoot and sheesh, and I said shoosh. Okay, that's a new word.
Angie moment.
No, that's a new inside joke.
No, I already have my notes taken in 20 minutes, 20 seconds of this podcast.
Bro, it's like a box score
there
for
is
you.
An Angie
write
moment.
down stats, bro.
I'm coming back to that clip.
Will you capture that and share that, please?
Yeah, Anthony Cole, right?
Anyways, so with that being said, it looks like it's time to close it out. Do you guys have anything else you want to say before we end it?
Go Heat.
Yeah,
Jim
go
VP.
Heat. Don't overreact, people. We're fine. I think we'll be fine at the end of it.
We'll be fine. We'll at least get past the first or second round. But you know, who knows? We never know. Anything can happen. You never know. Last year we didn't expect it either. So just be optimistic and trust in the organization. I think they probably know a little bit more than we do.
So
If
with
nobody's got me, we know Jimmy Butler got me. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
So with that said, let's see what happens next for Miami with these 6 games coming up, and just gotta pray. So with that being said, thank you for listening to this episode of the Heat vs. the World podcast. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Heat vs. the World _, and we'll see you guys next time with the brand new episode. We out.
Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time with a brand new episode of the Heat vs. the World podcast.